Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, I thought I would do a little October and November wrap up together because I am a slow reader and I tend to read 5 books a month, which is a win for me. And by slow reading, I just mean that I just take my time with the book. It's not the fact that I'm taking 2 hours on a page. It's more of the fact that I'm trying to live in the moment and do a lot of things that allows me to be present in my life with my family and my friends. And reading is not like taking the back burn, but it is only a hobby, and I'm like trying to not let it consume my life. So that's where we at. That's what I mean when I say I'm a slow reader. I just like to soak it all in. And in this video, one of these books, one of the most popular books that has come out this year, one of the everyone's most anticipated reads, did put me into a reading slump. So we're gonna chat about that. And yeah, let's just get straight into my October and November reading wrap-ups. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I always do a little reading wrap-up where I include a picture like this about all the books that I read in the month and the ratings, and I also add extra pictures from the month that flew by. So my Instagram is at @Mishka if you want to go check it out. But for October, I read 5 books in total, 4 physical books and 1 audiobook, which happens to be my first ever audiobook that I listened to, which is so crazy. I started it I think the beginning of the year and I never picked it up, and then I was like, I really need to start listening to something when I'm not reading, because I do a lot of stuff around the house and cleaning and all of that, and I was like, let me just start an audiobook. So I did, and I finished it and I loved it. So without further ado, let's get into the first read for October. The first book I read is Play Along by Liz Domford, and I loved it so much. I love the series. If you know me, you know that I will never stop recommending Windy City series, sports, romance, found family. I eat them up every time, and a lot of people are haters for Mile High, like Stevie and Xander. A lot of people hate them. Guys, please. I loved Mile High. I love the whole bad boy type that Xander was giving. I love Stevie also because she had curly hair, she was a person of color, and she was curvy, and I was like, that's so different. That's why I loved it. It was just it was so different to me and so good. But also, if you read Liz's books from Mile High to Play Along, you can see how well her writing just becomes obviously Mile High is good, but you can just see how she kind of learns from mistakes that she made writing back then, and her books just kind of progress and get better and better. That's what I'm trying to say. So people that are hating on Mile High, stop it. Just stop it and trust the process, because writing is a process, and Liz Domford, she always delivers. I love this. I don't really like Marriage of Convenience or Vegas marriage, the whole thing, accidental marriages. It gives me the ick. But in this book, I was very scared about it. It really worked because Isaiah has been obsessed with Kennedy from the beginning. That's the only reason. If it was just oh my word, we married, what the hell are we doing now? I would have been guys, I don't like this, but I loved it because Isaiah and the date, the date when Max was born, when their mother, I think it was when their mother died, and then when he met Kennedy and they got married. I love that so much. And the whole love you thing. Yeah, I love you. I think that's a thing. Oh, baby, my heart's happy. Anyways, I loved it. 5 stars. Spice is at a 3, but I wasn't here for the spice. I was here for the story, and I thoroughly enjoyed Play Along. The next book I picked up is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Boston. Also was on my TBR for the longest, and everyone was raving about it. Now, I love romance books. I don't read fantasy at all. So when I read this in the beginning, I was very irritated because it is magical realism, and I was Clementine knows what's happening, but am I gonna call him Erwin or James? Ivan, I have no idea. But he didn't know back then, 7 years ago. And I was like, please just tell him, because I hated the fact that she knew and he didn't know. For some reason, the blurb at the back made it seem as if they both knew what was happening in the time. But Mishka didn't know until she told him a few like weeks or months later. And it was only like 80% in when I was like, oh my gosh, this is a good book. Like it was fine. It was fine. Like, I wasn't really feeling it. And then 80% in, when she meets like Vera and the things just start clicking together, I was mind blown. I loved it. I got 5 stars. I like, just go pick it up, and you have to have like an open mind when you read this. It reminded me a lot of like Emily Henry's writing. That's why I'm saying have an open mind, because a lot of people don't like Emily Henry, because you go in thinking you're gonna get a cliche and it's not that. So yeah, 5 stars for the 7-year slip. Absolutely adored it. Next, I picked up an arc called Merrily Yours by Rachel Lewis. It's kind of like an interconnected series. Her first book, Yours, unexpectedly follows the sister and like, is it brother's best friend vibes. And then this book is kind of a novella around Christmas time, and it like follows the whole Bordeaux family, and each of them have like a perspective or POV. So each chapter is a different like family member, and it was super like wholesome and cute. You kind of get a peek into the whole family, which you don't get in the first book, which I loved, because she has 3 brothers, and in the first book they don't really make a lot of appearances, but in this book I was like, oh my gosh, I can't choose which one I like more. And Rachel is an indie author, so definitely go and check out this book and Yours Unexpectedly. I'll insert the picture here. They are both on Kindle Unlimited. I love this. I gave this, I think, 4 stars. Merrily Yours, 4 stars. It is spicy, so just keep that in mind. The next book I picked up for October is Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. Listen, my queen. I love her books so much. I love her writing. It's just fun. It's rom-com. Like, if you're looking for rom-com, Tessa will give you a rom-com. Not books that say, this is a rom-com, and then it just doesn't make sense to be a rom-com. Tessa always delivered. And for some reason, her books are always different but the same. If that makes sense, I don't even know. But to me, her books are the same but different at the same time. Like in this book, she like added the whole diabetes thing because her daughter is a diabetic, and so is Josephine in here. So we get a little glimpse in it, and I had no idea how it works. I was very happy with that, like the whole aspect of it, because I learned a lot. And then Grump, Wilds. No one writes a grumpy man like Tessa Bailey. No one. And that's why she's the reason I love grumpy men. Like, Sunshine character is cute, but a grumpy man that has a soft heart kills me every single time. I give it 5 stars. I loved it. Their story did move a bit fast for me, but I'm like, forced proximity, you're alone with a man. What else could happen? Like, really. And I loved that Josephine was independent, didn't want to depend on other people. I just love that. So yeah, highly recommend you go check out Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. The last book I didn't read but I listened to is called That Girl by Gillian Dodd. Oh my word, this is like an interconnected type of series book, and I loved it because the first, I think 4 or 5 books, I think this is like book 5 or book 4, I'm not really sure, but the first like 1 to 4 books follow these two, like their parents. So it's a like fun family thing, and then this book and the rest of the books after it follow like their children and stuff, which I loved. I love this book. I gave it 4 stars, so it was a good read for me. It was narrated by one person, and that was kind of boring, I won't lie. But before that, I didn't know what dual narration was. So keep in mind that when it comes to November's reads, I'm going to be chatting non-stop, because you guys saw in my vlogs how much I loved that guy's voice in the second audiobook I listened to. So yeah, 4 stars for That Girl. It was YA, but like super cute YA, summer romance. I loved it. I would recommend, because I really want to check out more of Gillian's books. So yeah, 4 stars to That Summer by Gillian Dodd. So those are all the books that I read in October. Like I said, it was a good reading month for me. When I get 5+ books in, it's always a good reading month. I enjoyed all of these books. So let's get into November. At the beginning of November, I, for some reason, didn't feel like picking up a physical book. Like, does that make sense to people? I was like, I want to read a short book. I want to read a book that I know I'm going to fly through. And I picked up a book called Nothing Before Them. I'm going to insert the picture here. She doesn't know she's an Omega. She's supposed to be mated to 3 alphas. Listen, I love Omegaverse these days. Omegaverse is really just like something that I've grown to love. And I picked this book up because of Omegaverse. You know, what could go wrong? I loved it. I think I gave it 2.5 stars. I'm not saying it was bad because I didn't give it 3 stars, but I feel like 3 stars is what I give to normal size books. And this was like a short novella, so that's why I'm saying 2.5, but I enjoyed it. She is basically like a painter, artist, a sculpture person. Her parents died and she's like trying to find meaning in life. But then she sees this picture of this like mountaintop and she feels drawn to it, like I need to go there. She goes there and then she meets these 3 guys. They are alphas. She doesn't know that she's like a werewolf type person. And she's like, can I borrow a room in your house? Like, I need to be there. I need to like see this mountain because she needs to like sculpt and paint it. Little does she know that the reason she's drawn to this house is because they are her mates. Like, she's mated to them. And in the house, she gets like the biggest room with like the biggest window and like open doors that look straight out to this mountain. And after that, it's just like once she wraps her head around it, I was like, I loved it. It was super cute, super spicy, straight to the point, 2.5 stars. Next, I read The Striker by Anna Wong, right? And this was not my anticipated read, mind you, because I've only read Twisted Love and Twisted Games by Anna, and I don't like morally grey. That's why I didn't read like the King of Sin series, which makes sense to me, right? I got this book gifted to me and I was like, I'm gonna read it because I have to do a review for the people that gifted it to me. When I saw it, I was immediately like, no, I wouldn't have. If I was in the shop, I wouldn't have bought this book just because of the size. I don't think it's ever this serious. I love romance. It's never this serious. And as much as I love football/soccer, I'm a football lover, I still wouldn't have picked it up if I was in the store. And this is what I was dealing with, right? Let me just add some perspective to how long it took me to read this book. November 4th to November 19th. That's 16 days. That's 16 days, guys. Can you guess the book that put me in a reading slump? Can you guess the book? I was so irritated. I don't even know how to explain. I liked the story. It was good. But for 80% of the book was not even focused on the striker, on Asher. It was more on Scarlet. Is her name Scarlet? Yeah. Scarlet's recovery and her becoming a better dancer. And just, it was a lot of the story was based on her growing. I loved her character development. But I'm reading about the striker. Where's the striker? It was 20 pages in when Asher decided to become a good person and all of that stuff, which I love. But I was like, we needed that like throughout the book because the book is based on him. It's not based on him and Scarlet. It's based on him. That's what I wanted. And they get together 40% in already. So it's I was expecting a whole tension throughout the book. No. Once the slow burn hit, and I don't like slow burn that much, so I was getting irritated. And then for some reason the slow burn ended because then they got together and I was like, okay, what do I still have? I had this much left. I'm like, what else is gonna happen? So much happened that was so unnecessary. Also, there was no like soccer. There was, I think, 3 soccer games. I read this book for the soccer. I read you for the soccer. I wanted the soccer. I wanted a play-by-play. Like, now we get in hockey, romance, even in Fangirl Down. I got full on golf. I don't know, I learned a lot about golf. Nothing. I was upset. And then what also irritated me is that there were so many cameos. So many cameos. Josh and Jules. Why? Lord knows. Bridget and Reese. They call them the married couple of what's the place name? I don't know. They call them that. Book. That's the new book that's gonna come out. He actually owns Black Castle, so that made sense. Who else made an appearance? Ash's publicist. What's her name? Sloane. And then the first two. Was it the first two of King of Wrath? Isabella. I don't know. Kai, I think. Tell me, I know this. My friend read the books, and every time a new person popped up, I'm messaging her like, who's this? Do you know who this is? What book is this from? I was so irritated. I love that it's like, because now I'm like, maybe I should just go read the series. And my friend was like, I'm not going to like it because of the morally grey. So I'm like, okay, fine. But it feels as if Anna is just like forcing us, like, go and read my other books so you can know who this people is, without really thinking that your readers might not gel with that series, but they'll gel with the series. And what also got me was, in the book it says, Cards of the Game, a series of interconnected standalones, then King of Sins, and then Twisted, and If Love. Fine, but you basically just have to say that all your books is interconnected at this point, because you're going to be putting characters from Twisted in this series, and it doesn't really make sense to me, you know? So yeah, that's what I didn't like with this book. I think I'm gonna give it 3.5. I like the story behind it, but there was just too much going on. Loved Asher, sweetheart, used for me golden retriever vibes, super cute. But that was it. Like, it took me so long. So yeah, 3.5 stars for The Striker by Anna Wong. That put me into a reading slump, and by reading slump I meant it took me that much days, and in between that days I was like, what am I gonna do? And that's why I read so many other books on my Kindle. Like, this was the only physical book I could like pick up in November. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it also wasn't that good. While I was reading The Striker, you guys watched my little reading vlog. I read Naughty or Nice Arc by Sophie Snow. The reason I read this is because for some reason I was gonna wait until The Striker was done, but the slump, I could feel the slump coming along, guys, and I didn't want to DNF it because for some reason I wanted to finish it. So I picked up Naughty or Nice. Was an arc. I love Snowfie's book. I gave this book 6 stars, and it's a novella. It's a novella. I gave it 6 stars. I was gonna say 3, then I was like, no, don't lie. 6 stars. I loved it. This book, I loved. Spice, banter, fun family. Oh my word, I just loved it. Christmas setting, I loved it so much. Let me tell you guys about it. So Aurora she hates Christmas. Her parents got together when they like found out she was pregnant, or mom was pregnant, and they moved to this town called Wintermore. At that point, Wintermore isn't a Christmas themed town, but then they shot a movie in Wintermore for Christmas, and then it just becomes Christmas, the North Pole Central. And she is 26, I think. Yeah, 26. And she goes back to Wintermore for Christmas because her best friend Noelle is forcing her to come and take like Christmas pictures at their family Christmas shop. So Noelle's family owns a shop in Wintermore. They love Christmas. Aurora hates it. And then on the last minute, Aurora's dad like breaks his legs or something. I mean, no, Noelle's dad breaks his legs and he can't be Santa Claus. So in walks, is it Charlie? What is his name? In walks Noelle's uncle. Yeah, he's 47. I'm trying to get his name, guys. Henry with it. 47, gray black hair. I think he has a beard. and he's like he doesn't have a family because he like works in Greenland. He's a climatologist, I think. So here comes this sexy old age man, and Aurora's like, your uncle is so fine. And I was like, what the hell? So Aurora and Noel have this like tight relationship, and Aurora's like, will it be weird if I ask your uncle out? And Noel's like, oh, whatever, it's fine. And then she like sends him a note because she has like a Santa kink, and she likes it when like she likes the idea of people like watching her sleep. So weird. But anyway, the two of them have like this just for Christmas like fling vibes going on. Spicy, let me tell you. And then at the end of it, they like obviously fell in love with each other, and they're like, we want to make this work. So I think they spent like a year just doing like long distance, and that's what I love. That's why this book is 6 stars, because you never see that in books. You always get the happily ever after, but they don't show the real stuff. Like I was expecting Henry to like not go back to work and like stay with Aurora, or for them to like just like settle down somewhere, but they both went for their dreams, and then they realized, let's come back together, let's find a place where we can both settle and be together. And I loved that so much. It's age gap, it's like forced proximity, it was just fantastic, and that's why I gave this book 6 stars. Next, I was reading Wake's Claim on my like audiobook, so that is an Omegaverse type of book also, but it's not really Omegaverse because she's human. It's more of like a shifter / paranormal romance, but anything that says they are whales, I'm like Omegaverse, but he doesn't have the whole lot thing going on. So I love this. This is the first time I read or I listened to like a shifter romance. It was giving Twilight vibes. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars, which is, it's pretty good. Wake was like tortured. So there is a series before this, but I didn't read it. But you kind of get a glimpse in this new series. Wake was like tortured. There was this war back then, and he like, they know who their mate is. They meet each other, and they're like, oh, that's my mate. And his mate, he meets, and he's like, I don't wanna take her because he feels like he can't take care of her. So he like rejects her, and and then she starts going out with other guys, and he's like, hell no. And then eventually gives in, and it's like the sweetest love story ever, you know, because it showed insecurities, it showed why people don't just go for it in the beginning. So yeah, I gave Wake's Claim on audiobook 4 stars. Also, the big reason why this book was a 4-star is because of the narration. True POV narration for life. Now I'm like obsessed with it. I loved it. Definitely go and check it out on audiobook. And then the last book I read for November, which I started in the beginning of November, and then I kind of put it on pause because I was focused on the striker. I read Snowed Under by Juliana Smith. Listen, I was going to leave this arc. I was actually, because I got it from NetGalley, and I was like, I'm going to leave it. I don't think I'm going to read it, you know, because I wanted to read another physical book. But something was pulling me towards this book, and for good reason. I loved it. 5 stars. Oh my gosh, guys. It was like 300 pages. It was super short, but like, I can't explain to you guys how much I loved it. You have to go and read it. It is a series, so I think I'm gonna go pick up what's the first book's name? Baggage Claim. It follows Finn, and then Finn's friend Cooper. Yeah, Cooper is in Snowed Under, and he like needs a wife to get exposure because his family owns the resort in Aspen. So he wants to like get the resort more exposure, and he needs a wife because people think that he's married for this like big magazine and has like a lot of followers, and it's a family orientated magazine. And then he meets Madeline, and Madeline has 2 children. She's an aunt. Her brother died and they left both of the children to her. She's juggling nursing school and looking after the kids, and it's just a lot. And Madeline's like, I don't have time for dating, and Cooper just steps in and he's like, I'm there for you. He's there. And I loved it so much. Like, It's a bit affecting, but not a lot. It was just so wholesome, and that's why I gave it 5 stars. I highly recommend you guys go and check out Snowed Under by Juliana Smith. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you read any of these, let me know your thoughts on them. I literally, I will ramble on with you in the comments. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.